Well, actually, not yet. Well, no, hold on. Checking. Yep. Confirmed. We are live on YouTube. Okay. Here's the deal. Here's the dealio. Here's the fill-in. Here's the I don't know, whatever. Let me ping Discord first before I get yelled at. Hold on. Twitch notifications. By the way, if you're on the Discord, you can activate the Twitch. Whatever, man. Hi. Hello. Hey. Hey, look at this list. Look at my photograph. We're at 14 out of 15, baby. Now, here's what's concerning about this. This level isn't even started. Yeah, it's not even started. Which is quite concerning. It's quite concerning, actually, as a matter of fact. We haven't even gotten started on it. It's not even blocked out. In fact, this is what it looks like. Yeah. So, we have quite a bit to do. Not only do we have a level that we need to make for the next 2 days, we also need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this stuff. I gathered some bugs yesterday when I was playtesting. All of the character customization stuff. Oh, goodness. What happens if I don't respect the deadline? I don't know. I probably self-combust. That's what's going to happen to me. Probably. But hey, we're almost done all the levels. So that's I don't know, that's like a C minus. Which is like usually what I got in school. That was basically what I got. We should be able to get this out of the way. This task right here. It's going to be fucking pog. So let's do that. I don't know if I put a score thing for that level. I didn't. Which means I got to play through the level, see what the highest score I could get, and the best time. And then come down to a conclusion from there. So let's get it going. Apparently here it says 2 minutes 20 seconds. I'm pretty sure we can do a lot better than that. Pretty sure we could do a lot better than that. What does your U5 look different? It's because I'm using UE6. They gave me access. Oh, great. The glass broke. Is that guy dead? I don't think he's dead. I think I hit him in the shoulder. Oops, ass. Yeah, I'm using Unreal Engine 6. Damn, he crouched under my shot? Okay, I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty sick. Okay, this is really annoying because... Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do this in God mode. We'll be able to figure out the timing and the score from there, okay? It's not UE5, it's UE4. I'm like an old man. How did I miss? And how are these guys still getting stuck by the door? This is not a very good representation of what kind of score we can get, because I'm like missing all of the clean suits and shit. So in fact, it is like a horrendous representation of what kind of score we can get. I noticed the enemy spacing in that section right there makes it very difficult to get a clean suit. Stop going in and out the door, man. Make a decision. God, I hate AI navigation. It's awful. Am I planning on releasing in 2 days? No. Content complete in 2 days. That's what I would like. I think we'll be able to get everything else done. Damn, I'm missing all my shots. I think I'll be able to get everything except the character customization done. I think that one might take me a few more days, and that's fine, because I'm going to have to do localization anyways. And work on all that, which might mean I have to contact a company and get them to do some additional translating. And then I got to get a trailer going, so during that time I can get the character customization going. 1 minute 51. So honestly, maybe we should just make it 2 minutes, and then we make it 100,000 score. 2 minutes, 100,000 score. That is our platinum score. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I had a moment there. I'm like, is that 100,000 or is that a million? 100,000. Okay. I'm losing my eyes. All right, 120 seconds, which means we get 2 minutes. And that is all of... I don't even want a blue check mark. I'm just going to fucking delete it. I'm just going to delete it because I can. So hype for the release. You better stream it. I don't know how that's gonna. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know what we'll end up doing. Default. Stream the insane debug session you'll have to do after release. Is there a way to reach goofy ass graphics like indie Unity games on UE5? Yeah, probably. There's obviously going to be some differences. Like the bloom will look a little different. Anti-aliasing will look a little different. Like there's various things that'll still look a little different, but you could still... Some people think my game looks like a fucking Unity game, which is not a compliment. So there's that. Is there another level in here that unlocks a series? Because I feel like there is Roma and Sahara series, the Caribbean series, and then the Tokyo series. But what unlocks the Sydney series? The Caribbean series. Caribbean-5. We should write that down. The chapter unlocks the Sydney series. Yeah. Oh. Excuse me. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. Indie Unity games and UE5, like I feel like it's just all about like I feel like lighting might make a difference. Like lighting in UE feels a bit different than lighting in Unity, I feel like. But I'm sure there's definitely ways of making it look like that if you wanted to do that. Lighting's probably the main thing, isn't it? Something like per pixel versus vertex slash object. I don't know. I'm not sure. Per pixel. Isn't that a forward rendering thing? Or am I incorrect? I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure Unity has deferred rendering. So then the question is Unity's default rendering pipeline in forward rendering versus deferred? If that's the case. I swear forward rendering is that, per pixel versus vertex. So then maybe the way to get Unity graphics in UE is to do forward rendering. To use the forward renderer. Which I've been using it at work. And my experience thus far has not been fun. That being said, we are doing a lot of different things. It's like a different renderer and everything. Different shader pipeline or whatever. So that doesn't help either. We're using like Vulkan and shit. Ugh. Man. Feels like I'm working with a dinosaur. All right. We got that. Now okay, so for me to do this task, we need to finish the Tokyo level. But then I need to finish the Tokyo level. So I'm thinking, let's just try to squash out some other shit on this list. We can do it. I know we can do it. Let's thin this out. Let's thin this shit out. All of these levels just need challenges? Is that all they need? Apparently so. Challenges and maybe secrets. We do need to start spreading more secrets in the game, more little secrets that you can find. Yeah, cool. Add a restart chapter in the pause menu. So somebody requested that. I'm sure there's a reason as to why I didn't put that in. It defaults to reset the checkpoint. But fuck it. Let's just put it in. Let's just put that bad boy in there. Oh, the text says restart campaign. Let's change that. That's probably going to have to be relocalized. Great, fantastic. Or retranslated. I love that. I love that for me. Now, I think the restart button only appears... This will also have to be relocalized. Restarting will bring you back to beginning of the mission. Bring you back to the start of the mission. I guess we could say that, to the start of the mission. Sure. I swear this button is only supposed to appear under certain circumstances, but it would seem that this button just appears and it doesn't really care. So let's do is focusable, is enabled, and all of the default stuff. It's weird because this button, I'm pretty sure. Let me see, because I think we got that report on the Discord. Let me see who wrote that. I gotta look at all these other new stuff as well. I'm also gonna have to fix those kill metric things. Oh god. What was this bug? Oh. Okay, that's a whole different thing. I have experienced that before though. I gotta write that down. But there was a bug in here, or a submission. It was either in here or on Steam. God, I hate having to look at different places for... Oh, here it is. I'm currently trying to obtain an S plus rating, which is getting 100% accuracy. The thing that's killing me though is every time I miss a shot, I have to go back to the main menu and then jump back into the level. It's a bit of a hassle. If I die, I'm given the option to restart the entire chapter. You can do that at any point. Okay. So they weren't playing on the highest difficulty, but what I'm confused about is this button is only supposed to appear, or maybe it's the retry button that only disappears when you're on a specific difficulty. Ah. No restart. Whatever that means. What the hell does that mean? What? I think these are supposed to both be in here. It would appear that I've forgotten to just make this whole restart system. Either that or... Let's see here, retry button. I have no idea what this is doing. My concern is that this is technically not working properly. It's not doing what it should be doing. The restart button should be appearing when we're in a specific difficulty. Reset to checkpoint shouldn't be there, but I guess we can leave it there. Fuck it. So now when we hit the pause menu button, we now see restart mission, and this should restart the entire mission. Also, the text is too big, and it's causing everything to be pushed downward. Oh, man. Restarting will bring you back to the start of the mission. And will override your save. Do we need to put and will override your save? Do you think that matters? Do you think that matters? Let's just write that. Listen, you'll find out if it overrides your save. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I thought this thing would kick him, but it's not. Get. I really wish I put more effort into the prop kicking, but I didn't. And I can't really be bothered right now to work on that at all. Testing out the kicking? No, more like just getting distracted. Just getting distracted. What are my thoughts on push-ups? I'd rather not do them. We got 2 days left on working on this. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Accessibility move to button press system. I don't know if I'm going to do this. Remove MSA in AA settings. Okay, so this is an easy one to fix. Let's just get that out of the way. That's in the settings menu. Kind of a little low-key embarrassing that I put that setting in there, especially considering that it's basically just not usable. It's kind of funny. All right. We just have FXAA and TAA. Is that actually... Jeez, why is that so loud? Is that actually the only two anti-aliasing settings we have in UE? I think it technically is, right? UE or AA settings. There's apparently no anti-aliasing setting or section on the documentation for UE 4.27. What's unfortunate? That's unfortunate. Really? Oh wait, there is. Oh, it's like literally just FXA and TAA. That's it. Wow. Okay, well, that kind of sucks balls. It looks kind of awkward only having 2 or 3 settings. Well, I guess MSAA is not there because it doesn't actually do anything. Improve the cursor to world aim setting in levels. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I want to delete that setting. I really want to fucking delete that setting. Dude, why does that happen? I feel like it's just not even fucking worth having in the game. Basically, when you use this... Oh, why is this lowercase? That's kind of annoying. You basically aim exactly where your cursor would aim in the world. So if I aim at the corner of this glass, it's going to shoot at the corner of the glass. Now, ideally, I feel like it would make sense if this didn't aim at glass and it shot through glass. I feel like that would kind of make sense. Micros. Yeah. So like if I aim at the corner here, it'll actually hit the corner or whatever. But the annoying thing is this takes into account any collision object ever, which makes this extremely, extremely annoying to play with. Like if we were to go and play with this, there is a high chance that we just like are not able to hit things properly, just due to the fact that it's like for example right here, we're aiming at the ceiling, which doesn't really help us. I don't really know how we could fix this. Oh, sorry, Mikros. Yeah, sorry. I keep forgetting. So this is a case of I don't know what to do. I want to delete the setting, but some people are using it, and I guess they're enjoying it, and I don't want to remove it because then they might get very, very angry. But like, how do I fix us not aiming at the ceiling? Do I do multi-line trace and then try to hit the thing that's the most reasonable thing in front of us? I guess that's something we could do, because it doesn't make sense that I'd be aiming right at the ceiling, right? But then how do I detect that? It's a cool setting that when it works, you know? But most of the time it doesn't work. Unfortunately. Over here we're aiming at the ceiling again. We're aiming like we keep aiming at this fence, which is not helpful to us. You know what I mean? Like look at our stupid character. Look at him. Look at him go. Look at him go, dude. See, like if I literally aim right in front of a guy, I hit his feet, because that's like the idea of the cursor to world aim kind of thing. Is you have to actually like this is like the game on hard mode. Like this is actually the game on hard mode. See, here we're aiming at the pillar now, because the pillar is right in front of us. You know? So I'm trying to think, how can we can maybe improve this system by doing a multi-line trace. Chances are anything that's right in front. I don't think this setting works on third person, which is good. Why is the pillar being targeted? Because it has collision. And I think I'd rather come up with a system that avoids this stuff rather than going into every single level and trying to fix stuff like this, because we'd be going in a lot of levels just to fix up collision specifically for this one fucking setting that like 99% of players are not going to even use. Can't you exclude things from aim? You can, yeah, but again, that would be exactly what I'd be doing. Is I'd have to go into every single level and every single object that could potentially cause this, I'd have to then fix up in what, like 40 plus levels. So I'm thinking if I can come up with like a system, I think we can get something better going. Like for example, if anything's in front of the camera, we can detect that, and if it's there, then we do the next trace. That's more reasonable for the player to aim at. But yes, technically, the easiest thing, without having to create a whole system for it, would be to The easiest thing would be changing the collision on everything manually. It's just gonna take the longest. So that would suck having to do that. It would not be fun. I'm also thinking to fix this bad rotation issue. I hate doing this. This is awful for the player, moving the camera while they're shooting at things, because that like moves their aim. I'm thinking of maybe making it so there's a fence here and you have to like click a button and then that does a sequence. This is literally like the second level you play, and having to deal with that could be like a deal breaker for players. So I feel like it is worthwhile maybe doing a little bit of effort to kind of improve that. Maybe we put like a fence here. You have to push a button somewhere or something. And then either way, there's a checkpoint here, pretty sure. And then the camera will change. Once we go there, I feel like that might be a good idea. See, like, I'm literally shooting in the direction of where an enemy is. I honestly think we should just delete the setting. I just think some players might like the setting, which is part of my concern. Let me see if they attack the player. They technically should. I don't know why that guy all the way over there attacked me. You consider a new trace channel with ignoring certain collision channels? Yes, I would just, the problem is I'd have to curate that for every single object in the game. For every single level. I've done that in some areas, but I really don't want to have to do all of that work just for one setting that like most people are probably not going to ever use. Thinking about getting rid of aim assist? No, not aim assist. This is a different setting. This is the cursor in world aim, which I have no clue what a better way of saying this would be. Cursor in world aim. World space cursor, I guess. I feel like that's too technical. Not aim assist. Aim at everything cursor. See, like here you can see I'm like, the character's looking up and down. They look at the floor. I do think one thing that we could maybe change is make it like when you're looking at the floor, instead of your character literally looking at the floor, which I think looks kind of stupid, maybe we have a baseline value. When you're not really aiming at anything specific, which might look a little better. We can like look at the floor and stuff, but it feels kind of weird. But that would be a different detail / polish. It's really funny because it kind of looks like he has like a spring interpolation. Do you see him like kind of bobbing his head? There's like a little bit of physics to it. Am I going crazy? It literally looks like he's got a bit of physics on him. There's a little jiggle to it. I could see it. That's kind of funny looking, especially when he's bald. He looks like a little bit like a bobblehead. Only purpose of the setting is to remove situational aim assist re-enables to lock on enemies that are on another elevation. Not necessarily. This setting is more like a playstyle thing. There is still an elevation aim assist, and I think there will always be, otherwise We literally can't hit any enemies at an elevation. This is very separate. This basically turns off aim assist in general. And instead of you relying on the game aiming for you, you are quite literally just aiming at the world. So if you shoot at the floor behind an enemy, you are shooting at the floor behind an enemy, unless like the shot would, in theory, be in the way. The enemy would be in the way of the shot, right? But it's like it was a setting that I just used for testing mostly, just to like shoot at the cars and stuff. It was not really meant to be a player thing, but the thing is, like, some of the players were using it, so I'm a little concerned about that. It sucks though. It is not a fun setting to use, to be honest. Like, this is like a hard mode thing, but hard mode just for the like scenario of being hard. Like, see right there, I would have technically hit that guy because at A, we would have had elevation aim assist, and B, I was aiming so close to him. It's not, I don't know, I'm thinking of deleting it, but apparently I've had a couple of reviews of people using it, but I feel like it's because there was a language barrier and they didn't know what the setting was supposed to do. So I bet you they were just playing the game wrong, which is weird to say, playing the game wrong. I can't. You do a multi-line trace from the camera to the player, and any actor it gets put. Well, that's the idea. I think it would be a multi-line trace, and we would ignore anything that's too close up to the camera. To fix that issue. Honestly, though, the easiest fix here is to just delete the setting. To be completely blunt. How's the AI in the hard mode? Our AI is not functioning the way I want them to. We give them 3 attack tickets, which means 3 enemies can attack the player at once in the hardest difficulty. And for some reason, they're not doing that. And I really fucking hate AI. I hate AI. It's so unpredictable sometimes. It's like not doing what I want it to do. Bye-bye cursor in world. Yeah, and like there's another problem where if we have ceilings in some of the levels, our cursor will hit the ceiling, and then I have to make sure all of the ceilings. Right here, now we're aiming at the wall. You see that? It's just, this setting, I don't think really adds too much value. I'll probably piss off like 2 or 3 people. But like, am I really gonna waste hours for like 2 to 3 people? No offense to those 2 to 3 people that were playing with this setting. Like right there, I would have hit him, but because I can't aim at him because I'm behind a pillar, then that complicates things. Like right here, I'm aiming at the ceiling here. Trying to think of what I could do here. What if I do what if I do the Project Zomboid thing? You guys know what I'm talking about? Project Zomboid has like an aiming thing where you aim your cursor, but it'll aim in like a specific spot and then like aim slightly above it. It's generally like, it looks a bit like this. So our crosshair wouldn't be here, it'd be over here. and then we aim a certain height, which is usually like where the shoulders are. So then that way you're basically aiming how the game would aim, but you just have the caveat of now, okay, you can technically, if you wanted to, aim at this catwalk up here or something, I guess. But we don't have any enemies on this catwalk, which honestly, we should have an enemy on this catwalk. We should. We should get a guy up there. Get a guy up there, posted up. That could be one thing. However, that doesn't solve the problem, which is our fucking aim still aims at objects like this. It still doesn't solve that problem. It does not solve that problem for us, which is one of the big problems with this. Honestly, I'm thinking we just delete the setting. I'm thinking we just delete it. Exactly, back on too many edge cases or a setting that like most people are probably not going to touch. It's just not worthwhile. We already have third person we have to deal with and work on still. It's just, I find third person to have way more value for time investment than this little setting that I think maybe 1 to 2 people were interested in. Yeah. It wasn't working as intended and needed way too much work. Yeah. Do you ever aim much higher than the plane you're on in Zomboid? I feel like all the instances I've seen, it's fighting happening on the same floor. That's the thing. That's why I was thinking that, like, that whole cursor thing that looks like a golf flag or whatever, that little line, I'm pretty sure, is you aiming shoulder height or where your gun is. I don't think you ever, like, aim at the floor or anything like that. Maybe you might aim at the floor when there's, like, maybe loot on the floor. But generally, I feel like this is what it's doing, is it's like, this is your actual crosshair, and it's aiming here, which is slightly above. So you could look at this as like a 3D kind of representation of where it's at. But I'd say, I'm going to say fuck it, and we're just going to remove that setting. When making a character, do I need to have them in a T pose on a piece of paper? That's completely up to you, Snipin'. I think when a concept artist concepts a character and they put it in a T pose, I think that's primarily just to help the 3D artists. But generally, how are you going to know what the posing is going to look like for your character if you draw them in a T pose? So you don't really have to have it in a T pose. I think that's just for workflow. That's me making an assumption. I would assume that's probably the reasoning as to why concept artists put them into a T pose, but yeah, if you're doing it on a piece of paper, I really don't think you need to. I really don't think you need. I don't know. I'm not an artist, bro. I don't fucking sketch or anything like that. You're technically asking the wrong guy. I'm just a guy. So what do I do? Keep this setting in here and then hide it and then just make the CVAR not register anymore? I just hope that doesn't cause any errors, even if I just hide it. I think it technically should be fine. I think it'll just be null. So we'll collapse the cursor in world aim. Dude, why does that happen? Why does that happen? So that, in theory, should now hide that setting. Great. How is this working on controller? You technically have to double hit here. I think it's because it's expanding the advanced settings, which is kind of annoying, but there's no hover event for it. Man, how do they fuck up controller in this widget blueprint system? I don't get it. Why is it that hover events don't work the same for controller? It doesn't make any sense. Why is it that hover events need their own system? Epic! Epic! Epic, you motherfuckers! You... They make me very mad. All right, next up on the chopping block, we need to disable it outright, because the problem is if someone had it enabled before the save file, they could find themselves stuck. Find themselves stuck in the setting, which is not good. Not good at all. So let's go ahead and I believe if I completely unregister the CVAR, then we should be good. I believe it was called, I don't know, let me search up cursor. There's a word I'm looking for, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. This node is deprecated. I'm gonna be honest. I think someone I remember a long time ago someone was like they really hate the comments and how they look in Blueprint. I think I'm gonna have to agree with that person. I don't know. I actually really dislike the comments as well, especially the big bubbles. And one of the big problems with it is sometimes when you write like a node comment in here and it's too long, it ends up just fucking clipping things, and it's disgusting. It's awful. It's the worst thing ever. I can't wait to get into C++. I say that now and then I get into it and then I want to like pull out my hair. I can't wait. It's going to be so awesome. So, did I have that setting technically turned on? Let's see if it's still technically turned on when I get into the game. Uh-oh. Okay, so we have to just outright unhook all of that. That's great. Where's our event tick? Oh my goodness gracious. Using gamepad, false. Cursor to world aim. Goodbye. It was not a pleasure having you. Deprecated. Goodbye. You are deprecated. It's basically just this. Like, okay, if I find the extra time to work on this, I'll do it. But right now, we have a lot of things on our to-do list. So I am going to skip it. Now what I'm worried about is how many places... Are you kidding me? I can't do a get bool cvar and see the actual input into it? Wow, that's fantastic. So I have to look at all of them. That's fucking crazy. Oh, here we go. Here's the world fire rotation. We're going to go on ahead and cross over that. I want to say... What do you mean? It's pruned. Of course it's pruned. I completely... it's unhooked. It's unhooked. That's going to be a really annoying warning for me to read Dude. Unreal. Where the fuck am I? It's like completely unhooked and it's still trying to fucking call it, dude. Go away. Oh god, this is gonna haunt me forever, isn't it? Oh goodness gracious me. Oh, what a horrible day. What a horrendous day. Okay. Oh, it's gonna keep showing me this warning, huh? Even if I unhook it, it's still fucking warnings. It still gives me a warning. Which is insane. Because there's an input into it. Hold on. And then this one probably as well. There we go. That would actually drive me crazy. Seeing that warning sign for a feature that's disabled, that would make me go crazy. I would actually have a Joker moment, probably. Maybe not. I'm like not that serious, but you know. Okay, let's make sure that it's disabled now because I don't want to brick someone's playthrough. That would be that would result in a negative review. Although I'm sure when they find out that I've deleted this option, they'll probably be mad anyways, so it's the greater evil that needs to be done. But hey, that's one task out of the way. Let's go! Now, the next setting, crosshair color settings. Right, crosshair color settings. Multiple people have asked to have a setting to change their crosshair color. So this is the texture, the drop shadows inside of it. Does this thing have translucency? It has a bit of translucency. Gonna be honest, that's probably a really bad idea. Because then it just starts blending in with the world. So let's maybe change that by default. Um, 144 color and opacity. I don't think I keyframed that one. Okay, so we'll set that to an alpha of 1. What kind of crosshair settings should we put in? I guess crosshair opacity, and then maybe like a color slider that goes from the whole rainbow. Oh, and then we need saturation because white is in here. Oh man, I'd have to like make a whole ass fucking, oh god. I'd have to make like I'd have to make like an RGB color picker thing. Oh no! Oh no! Like something like this, but in game. Oh goodness. Let's see what it looks like with that one alpha now. It definitely looks much crisper, which I think is good. It does make me wonder though. Should we have different crosshairs for different weapons? You know what I mean? Something to think about. That was a rocket launcher. I forgot about that. We still have to work on that. Like, I wonder if we should have different crosshairs. I don't know. Nah, who cares? Okay, image 0. What are we doing with image 0 here? Yeah, we need something to control the color and opacity of this. Or not the opacity, the color. Yeah, just, yeah. We could just make it the 4 color values. But that kind of sucks to you. That kind of sucks, for one. I will admit. It kind of sucks using that. Because then you don't really know what the color is. But I guess it's better than nothing, right? I guess it's better than nothing. So it's like if you wanted green, you do 0 red. It's not like the most beginner friendly thing ever, but I'm trying to think of what I could do that could be a bit more user, like obviously the most user friendly thing would be making something like this. Just giving them a full on fucking color picker. But I think in UE5, funny enough, it has a color picker widget. I prefer sliders, hue, and saturation with a little box showing the current color. The problem is we need 3 sliders. We need hue, saturation, and brightness. We need all of those: hue, saturation, brightness. Hue, saturation, and yeah, brightness. Obviously, we would have a thing to preview the color. I think I'd be a psychopath if I didn't do that. Definitely would not be. I would definitely be psychopathic. Yeah, we need like this. This right here. We need hue, saturation, value, or brightness. So I guess we could literally just follow this. I wonder if I could read this hue value. This has to be in engine. This has to be a curve. That has to be a curve somewhere in the engine. Engine content, hue. curve. Damn it, I'm gonna have to make my own. Of course I'd have to fucking make my own. Of course I'm gonna have to make... Hair debug color. Hair debug color? It's a curve, but it's not the color curve that I was thinking of. It's really funny because you can look through this, you can look through these engine content and you can see like whenever someone imports a texture, it shows the source file of where it's from. They like didn't change it. Some of them they did change, some of them they didn't. This one's Charles. Charles, you forgot to clear the source file section. This one's Jordan. For rocket cleanup. Rocket cleanup, of course. Rocket cleanup. I wonder if I could use the hair debug color. It's just a traditional RGB curve, but I do need a color curve because that actually gives me the values of it. I guess I'll just have to make my own. Okay, well, I guess that's what we'll do. Hue, saturation, and brightness. Hue, saturation, and brightness. Ah! Yeah, crosshair color options I think were requested by like a few people, and I think it's a, you know, I guess it's a nice thing for accessibility as well, so probably a good setting to have. I do think it's on me to make the crosshair more readable without the necessity of having to change your own settings. I think that's on me as well. You know what I mean? I feel like that's part of it, but you might as well just put some in. Maybe it might help a few people. They might like that. Where would we put this? Gameplay? Oh, great. I'm going to have to make it work on controller too. I love my job. 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 The hell is X-ray vision? I actually don't even know what that is. I think that's being able to see enemies through walls. Okay. We're going to need 3 different sliders. We could put it right above the advanced settings and we can just make it like a drop down. We can make it a drop down and it could be crosshair settings. And then it just becomes its own section. I feel like that could be good. That could be good. And then maybe maybe duplicate this slider style and create one specifically for colors. Guys, I'm going to be honest. What if we just do like a bunch of color buttons and you can select the color buttons? Or we just make a or we just make like a slider that goes from like 0 to like 12 and then you select from 12 different colors. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on that idea? Bad idea? It's not as like customizable. I guess that's kind of, I guess it's more lazy. I might as well just do the right, proper way of doing it. I might as well do the proper way. But then if you have hue, saturation, and value, or brightness, what about alpha? Transparency. We'd need 4 boxes. I just realized something. Our animations modify the colors. As far as I know, I cannot parameterize these. What the shit, man? The hell is this? What happened? Why is it stretched? Guys, what the hell? I cannot parameterize this, which makes creating a dynamic crosshair that much more complicated. How do I fix that? I actually don't know how I could fix that specific problem, that piece of the puzzle. Can you make a specific time a variable? That'd be kind of cool. Can I do that? Is that something I can do? Hello, Unreal. You got time and value. Oh man, we can't. I can't just go in here and set a specific key as a variable. No. Oh, that's gonna complicate things actually. All right, hear me out. Here's something we can do. Here's something we can do, guys. Hear me out. We make different crosshair types, and then some of them have different, we add different colors to them. Oh man, hold on. I'm gonna wipe my nose. Have a second crosshair layer, the alpha's in and out on top. We could. It's just, oh god, doing that would suck. In the graph, can you select time by the animation reference? Can you select time by the animation reference? like where it's at currently? Technically, yes. It's just I can't like I can make it so the crosshair changes the color and then at the end the animation brings back the color, but that's gonna look really weird. I just think the thing is I don't think I can do actual color settings. What I could do is I just have a bunch of different textures that have different colors, like different preset colors, which is I know sounds really stupid. That would be one of the fixes for this animation problem because I can't fucking parameterize this, which I think is I think that's wild that I can't parameterize a specific key. Hmm. I thought this task was going to be easy in my head, and then once I got to it and I thought about it, it's not that easy anymore, guys. So I think what I could do is we make like 12 different crosshairs, a few different styles, and then like we have a few that have different colors. What is like the most common crosshair colors? But it would have to be in the texture, which I know is kind of stupid. Trust me, I agree. Unless there's somewhere else I could set the color that's outside of this value that gets rendered. I believe in the root it has a color, which I don't know how the fuck this works. But then this would change everything, even the hit color. I think even the hit color would also get modified. So I guess that's one way of doing it, is we do it through this. It tints basically the entire widget. Everything in the widget gets tinted, even the hit effect. So let's just do it that way. Now, how are we doing this again? We're doing hue, saturation, value, but then we also need the alpha if people want to modify the alpha. So we need hue, saturation, value, and alpha. Oh, God. That's a lot of settings. So it's a lot of settings. A lot of settings. So it's a lot of sliders. Well, no better time than now to get started with making these sliders. What I'm kind of pissed off by, though, is... Let's make a new folder for this. Crosshair. We need to make some color curves. We'll call this curve RGB. All right. Is there a way to make like a preset? Are there preset curves? Please tell me there's preset curves. Yeah, Phoenix. I made some stuff in Designer. How's it looking? Can't you write one line of C++ code to set the color programmatically? Excuse me, what the fuck? Probably, I don't know. All right, what are the hues? What's in the middle? What's in between red? What's in between red and red? What's in between red and red? Hold on, let's see here. It's funny because we have the engine. Like, I don't know. Is it maybe in the C++ class? No. Engine content, curve. What was it? I think we searched up hair. Yeah, hair debug color. It looks like green is the middle color. Green seems to be the middle color, which I guess is kind of weird. That doesn't really make sense. I feel like the cyan color would be in the middle, right? You'd go in the middle and then go around again, right? I feel like that would make sense. And then this is in the key of time 0.5. This would be 180. Yeah, we can do this in a value way. Okay, so this would be 0.25. We'd choose color 90. Doesn't look right. Some of others don't look right. 0.75. This would be a color of 180 plus 90, which is 270. I feel like we're missing some colors. Also, is this in reverse? I feel like usually RGB colors have purple first. Ah, whatever, who cares? Am I using game playability system? Not in this project, no. Not in this project. Let's do 0.125. We did 90, so I guess what would that be? 45? And then this would be 0.375. Going to be 90 plus 45, which is 135. And then I feel like this is kind of unnecessary, to be honest. Zero 0.625, 0.125, 0.625. And then this is 180 plus 45, which becomes 225. And then this last one is 0.75. We got 0.875. No. There's no control Z. There's no undo in. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. You're gonna make me go fucking crazy, huh? So what is that? 180 plus 90 plus 45. That's it. That's the wow, that's really cool. Look at this. It's like a fucking it doesn't make sense. Why is this over here? Shouldn't it be kind of like I fucked it. I fucking broke it. And I can't undo. This doesn't have an undo. Can't redo while edit color is in progress. This engine really fucking This engine really drives me crazy. I'm gonna be honest. It really fucking drives me crazy sometimes. 0.25, we want 0.25, 0.375. Why is it stepped like that? So this is 180 minus 45. Did I study color theory? Are you kidding me? Color theory? Did I study color theory? No. Did I ever finish my Cyberpunk roguelike game? I did not. I did not, unfortunately. I did not. Crazy idea. No, let's not touch this. This is fine. This looks good. We got our RGB curve. Was that a bad question? No, I didn't study color theory. I didn't study any of that. I did not study any of that. So then we want another curve. We're gonna want multiple curves for this. We're gonna be here a while. I guess a curve float. Hold on, I want to see what this looks like first. That's not the curve. That's not the curve I want. This is gonna be curve white to black. Or I guess black to white, I guess. That makes more sense. 0 to 1. I read an article about it once, and since then I pretentiously act like I know how it works. I don't really like, I probably looked into it once, probably during school or something. But that's about it. I wonder if I should, let me do this curve alpha. I actually have no clue if this is going to work. Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if it'll render how I want it to. So we have red, green, blue, which is the hue. We've got saturation. Saturation and brightness. Funny enough, saturation would actually be a different curve. It wouldn't even be this. And then we got darkness, I guess, which could potentially also be its own curve kind of thing. And then the alpha curve. So hold on, let's write this down. Crosshair color settings. So we need hue, saturation, brightness, and transparency. Okay. We should be able to get this going. Let's make a section for it in our UI then. So I guess the idea is we'd want a drop-down header for it. So I guess we'll just copy paste this. Copy. And then paste. And then we'll bring this up. And then we'll rename this to advanced settings. This will be crosshair settings. And then we don't really need that. I kind of like the subtext. Yeah, customize your crosshair again. With a hue slider, you don't need to store any other color data for the crosshair. Well, we just need to store a few variables, which is like the saturation and stuff. Which is unfortunately going to be... Could I do that through one variable? I could probably just do it through one variable, and then these sliders modify that variable. So it would just, I think it would just be one variable, one linear color variable, which is good for us. I don't have to do 5 million fucking things. So we'll go ahead and delete that, delete this, and then I guess we'll keep these bad boys. How do you calculate saturation from a 0 to 1 value? How do you calculate saturation based off of the based off of 3 values, red, green, and blue? UE4, how to calculate saturation from red, green, blue. Okay, well, that's not gonna work. RGB to HSV. Because otherwise, the easy thing to do would just be, let's just have everything as its own variable, because I'm stupid. Because I'm dumb. Or I could just think, how could you calculate, if you have a value of 111, the saturation is... Let me look at this. If we have a value of 111, but then if we bring the blue back to the closest value, let's say this is 0.5. It's an averaging from the lowest and the highest value. That's what it is. Red, green, and blue, it's an averaging of the lowest and the highest value. It takes the lowest and the highest value, right? This becomes the lowest value, which then modifies the saturation. Yeah. Anyone has a math node for this? HSV to RGB. What is HSV though? Because make a color from... Is S saturation? So that'd be RGB to HSV. And then that would give us the saturation. We can part color into individual HSV components as well as alpha. Oh, this is basically what we're doing. Hue, saturation, value, and alpha. Who'd have thought? That's quite literally... Wait, hold on. Hue is 0 to 360, while saturation value is 0 to 1. And I would imagine alpha would also be 0 to 1. Okay. This would be our... Yeah. Okay. Well, it's already built in. That's already built in. I knew I remember seeing the HSV thing, and then now it clicked. Hue saturation value. It's clicking in my brain. Took me 10 years. It's clicking. I can hear it clicking. My brain. It's all making sense now. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. I understand now. Kind of angel. Yeah, we could just use HSV. Guys, listen, sometimes I overcomplicate things in my brain, okay? You don't judge me, all right? Come on. Come on, don't judge me, all right? Sometimes I'm a bit of a dummy, all right? I'm not going to be able to modify this bar image dynamically, aren't I? I'm going to have to make a different slider for every single thing. Well, well. I swear we used a color curve somewhere. Where did we use it? Skin color. Skin tone. Where is the material for it? Here it is. MUI skin tone bar. I'm gonna copy that. This will be MUI crosshair underscore hue. And then we can change the curve. We're gonna have to create a new curve atlas. Fine. I'm sure that's gonna look just fine. All right. Look at that. Do toes move? Not in real life, but you know what I mean? It's all just a mesh. Most of the time, it depends on how realistic a character is, but most of the time, it's just one bone that just controls all of the toes. So then that way you can at least have like, you know, when you walk, you sometimes have your toes go first. Well, no, you don't have your toes go first, but they curve. So usually you just have all your toes a part of one bone. So then they can at least go up and down. At the bare minimum. But otherwise, if you're doing like a really cartoony character, you probably just don't need a fucking toe bone. You just do one foot bone and probably make do, honestly. So we have our crosshair hue. Man, it's really annoying because I can't tell what's material or not. So this is going to be hue. This is going to be saturation, which honestly could probably be used for multiple things. I also think we are probably not going to do it this way. We're probably not going to do it this way. Oh, we'll see. I don't know. I was thinking of doing it dynamically, but whatever, fuck it. And then this would just be alpha. Which I would have to turn this into translucent. And we're good. And then honestly, the final color, we probably don't even need this. We could just do constant with a 1 value. And everyone is happy. The less you mess with fingers and toes, the more sanity you have. Don't worry about it. It ain't too bad. This is already in the section, so we'll just do hue. Oh man, I hate how it's just hue though. I think I'd want this to be. I think I'd want this to have a padding. Because we want the crosshair, right? We'd want the crosshair somewhere. So this actually would not be inside of a vertical box. This would be wrapped with a probably like a horizontal box. For now, we can set this to fill. And then we'll want like the crosshair, the actual crosshair preview in here. Guys, check this out. What is this video? I don't, whatever. I don't know what it is. What would be another word for hue? Color hue? Sure. So we need hue saturation. Color saturation. Paste that again. This is now brightness. It's a furry NSFW clip. What? In my chat room? And then last but not least, crosshair alpha. I really think it's kind of redundant writing color in all of this. Should just be, we can do color hue as the first one. Go to Dragus. And then we just have to figure out the rest of these values. Yes. Fun times, huh? Fun. The thing is, does this have... Yep, it's got controller support. Which would mean I'd probably want to use this. And I can't change it per. I'd have to make a unique slider for each one. Also, it's really annoying. I can't just navigate to this and click this. It like keeps scrolling up and down. So thanks Unreal. If I compile this, it breaks it, and then I have to click on the thing again. Thanks, Unreal. Really fun having to deal with this shit. I can't just fucking modify the scroll wheel myself. What have I done? Okay. I want to see how I did the skin tone, because I think I kind of did some of the stuff there for the character customization. Yeah, here it is. This is what I did. I just did a slider. What I'm concerned about is how did I do the controller support for this? How did I? Uh-oh. Erm. Guys. Oh, it's a full-on widget blueprint. Ah, of course. Of course. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. We browse to the stylized slider setting. We duplicate it. We make our own new version of it for the crosshair. Let me, did I close the one for the hair? I did, didn't I? Skin tone slider. And then, so the image, the hovered bar image is modified. Normal image and hovered bar image. Gotcha. So let's go ahead and select, I guess the first one, which is the RGB, or what is it, crosshair hue. It's RGB! Every gamer loves RGB. They love it. That's too thick. That bad boy is thick as hell. All right. So now we got our crosshair slider. Let's just throw it in as a beginning. Slider, crosshair. And I want to replace this with crosshair slider. All right, it didn't work. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There we go. Here's the problem with that stupid number that's next to it. We're going to just delete that. We're going to just delete that. It's just going to be the slider. Well, let's find references to that text box. Text box. Again, another thing for the text box. Goodbye. Apply setting value. So this is another problem. How are we going to code this? I think I am going to have to make every single one of these settings its own thing. Also, because I don't think there's a CVAR specifically for... Like, we can do a string CVAR. Let's see, can we convert an HSV? Can we do an HSV from a string? Because that would be crazy. Oh my god, we can. We can do it in a string. What? Is HSV not a variable? I guess not. I guess it's not a variable. So what I just saw, we can convert this into a string. It does R equals, G equals, B equals, and A equals. So we can create our setting from this, and then each thing is going to control its own value. However, I don't think I want this slider to actually set the setting at all. Which then makes me wonder, why am I using the native slider setting? I probably shouldn't. I probably should use something different for this, but yeah, honestly, I'm starting to think maybe yeah, I'm thinking maybe we use the skin tone slider and then we make the bar image a variable that we can modify. Then we just use that. Only problem is it's going to look a little different than the other things because it has a different like look to it. And honestly, I think that's fine. I think that'll be fine. So let's go ahead and delete these values. Okay, looking good. And then I'm thinking unless we just use this, but skin tone has a different parent class, which is I think why I kind of prefer that. Transformations to apply to the value to get the subsection that this setting cares about. This is too complicated. Just fucking put the slider in and just do the thing, man. That's honestly all we need is just put the thing in the thing and then get the color and then save the color. And then when we open it up, get the color. And you know what I mean? Like we don't really need all this complicated mumbo jumbo stuff. We really don't. We really don't need all this complicated mumbo jumbo. So on that note, let's just try to figure out how we could use the skin tone slider for this.
Shit my pants, I did.
I did not shit my pants.
20 push-ups RN Kappa.
I'm not doing 20 push-ups, but thank you for the prime, Minox. That's 1 year. The 1 year. You had 1 year. One year. We will call this background material. We'll do a material interface, which I learned yesterday is the correct one to use for this thing. And the default will just be skin tone because I don't want to modify the other thing. Redeemed 5 push-ups. All right, fine. 5 push-ups. Make it 30? Hey, no. I'm not making it 30. So I should be able to read the value of this from here. And then in the event construct, we're going to go ahead and I need to set the style. Great. Hold on. Let's do it this way instead. Get style. Set by reference variable. Wait, set members. There we go. That's what I wanted. And that way I don't have to override the other things. And then inside of style, we want to modify the normal bar and the hovered bar. And then in here, these, I believe, are the same. And this one has a slight bit of transparency to it. One has a slight bit of tint to it, which is weird because that just modifies the darkness of this, which makes no sense. That doesn't really make sense, but I guess. Is that like that like changes the color and gives you the incorrect color? Whatever, I guess. Put that in here. We will break this tint. For some reason, by default, it's pink. Makes no sense. I'll do a smaller value. Hey, peace out, Minox. Take it easy. Thanks again for the prime. I appreciate it. And we want to draw this as a box, apparently. And then the image would be the background material. What kind of variable type is this? Object. Atlas to texture interface. I just noticed that Atlas to texture interface. Okay, so this should now modify this. Now, we could potentially put this in the pre-construct. And I think I actually will. And now we can put the skin tone slider inside of here. And then I can modify this. So for example, for this one, we're going to do the crosshair hue. That's going to change the hue of it. Looks beautiful. Looks really pretty. It's a really pretty color. And then for saturation, we're going to do the same thing. Saturation. And then I believe the value below it is this same one, right? Brightness, color hue, saturation, brightness. Okay. Is it better to make a character in need and add outfits later? Dude, characters are such a complicated thing. Characters are they're a bit of a complicated one. I will say. Nice. It would be nice if the saturation like actually showed the color that you're currently previewing in the hue. I feel like that would be kind of cool, but I'm not doing that. Listen, I ain't cooking that far. Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far. That's too much. Ain't no way, brother. Ain't no way. And then we need a preview of the crosshair here. I feel like it'd be cool to have a preview of the crosshair with a bright background and then a dark background, so you can kind of see what it would look like. I think I'm also gonna have to make a I think what I'm gonna have to do is take this crosshair and make like a higher resolution version of it. Then we can preview it on the menu, because it's 32 pixels by 32, which is not enough. So I'm gonna have to find where this. I'm gonna have to somehow recreate this one-to-one, and I don't know. I think it's got a slight stroke on it, and then like an inside version. Oh, whatever. Maybe I just keep the same thing, 32 pixels by 32 pixels. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Okay, let's see how it looks like when we slide the sliders around. Crosshair settings, customize your crosshair. Cool. Works as intended. Cool. Now, the only thing is the saturation curve doesn't make sense. What I mean by that is it would be nice if this actually showed you the color that you currently have in your color hue, but I'm going to be honest, guys. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to do that. Well, I could. I could. But then I'd have to take into account the brightness. I could, but I don't care. So, to be honest, let's just move forward with what we got here. Right? You know what I mean? Let's just move forward with what we got here. I think that's fine. I think that's more than enough. And then we can do like a little preview image that shows you like what it would look like. Fully transparent cursor gameplay incoming. It's really funny because you literally have a thing that says show crosshair. You can technically just turn off show crosshair, and then that's all you really need to do. You don't really need to do other things. Okay, well, now we just need to get this shit working. So, firstly, we need to create a CVAR for it so that we can actually save it. I'm really glad that Unreal made a way to save the RGB values into a string. That is so awesome. Register game and custom CVARs. So we're going to use this open space here. Go ahead and register our thing here. How do I do the color hue part? What do you mean? Like which part of the color hue? One thing I'm concerned about is, did I do this correctly? Because I know purple is technically first. Which is what I'm a little concerned about. I might have to redo this entire thing. All of it? It's a slider, and there's a material that calls to a curve. Oh, you can't see it. Calls to a curve and an atlas, and then you can basically read that in the material as a parameter. And then that's about it. It's just that material being hooked up there and then being put into the slider. Really, that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. So let's hear register string CVAR setting. This is going to be game.crosshair RGB. The default value is, oh shit. RGB string RGB string color. There we go, to string from linear color. I'm going to do white as the default, and that's the default value. So this turns into red, green, blue, alpha, which I find to be the funniest thing ever. How am I going to read this actually, or how am I going to save this? I'm thinking now. I don't want to do it on tick. That would be awful. Skin tone value changed. Would your blueprint underscore skin tone slider? Oh yeah, we have the values. Okay, let's rename these. This is RGB tone slider, RGB crosshair, RGB slider, crosshair saturation slider, and then we got crosshair value slider. I hope I don't get confused about that one. Crosshair alpha slider. 2 more days and then what? I finish this game, ideally, which is probably not going to happen. But, you know, hey, that's the goal. I finish this game once and for all. Once and for all. Once and for all. Okay, so crosshair RGB. Crosshair saturation slider. Crosshair value slider. And last but not least, crosshair alpha slider. So that is HSVA. Okay, so then get cvar string. This is going to be game.crosshair RGB. I believe is what we called it, game.crosshair RGB. Then we want this string to color. Convert string back to color. We're going to split this. This is going to give us RGBA. That's incorrect though. We want the RGBA to be HSV. Did you announce that date on the 1st of April? I didn't announce it. It's just an internal date that I'm doing here on the stream. That's it. Is it a forest? Just a little internal kind of goal date thing for me to try to work towards. Set string cvar? Is this how it's supposed to be done? I don't remember. This is going to be very interesting. So the value is then going to become the new value. So HSV to RGB. This is going to become the alpha. And then we're going to read the old values. But then we want this to become a string. And then this is going to be the name of the string cvar. Hey, Lycos. What we cooking? Crosshair settings. I thought this was going to be an easy thing. It's actually proving to be a lot more complicated. It is proving to be a little bit more complicated than I intended for, to be honest. It is most definitely proving to be a bit more than I intended for. I will admit. I should buy this game even when I don't play games just for support. Well, I wouldn't do that to yourself, Masters. You know what I mean? You don't gotta do that. Don't worry. I would say only buy the game if you're actually interested in it. Otherwise, you know, you just hanging around and watching the stream is more than enough. Don't worry. Crosshair RGB. Okay. I believe this is correct. We are setting the value based off the other things. We're only setting one value in here, and then that's it. I've been watching this game being developed for years. I know, but like, it's kind of embarrassing that it's been so long. It's kind of embarrassing. Man, why did it take so damn long? Okay. Now let's modify the actual crosshair. Then we do an add string cvar callback. It's going to be this. This is going to be a custom event that we create. Crosshair color RGB callback. We'll do callback immediately. And then what we'll do, how do you get this color and opacity appearance value? Set color and opacity. Do we just do this? I think so, right? And then the target's none. And then in the value, we're going to take a string and convert it to color. And then I guess we could do a branch if it's valid. I guess that's a smart thing to do. Okay. In theory, I should now be able to change the transparency of my crosshair. Okay, we're getting an error. Please ensure the CVAR is registered correctly. Oh, wait, hey, we got something. Am I lagging because of this menu? No. Okay, I think that was just because of the UI element. Oh, hey! It works! It's just because on first startup, for some reason, it doesn't work. Also, this here, it's not grabbing the values yet. That's fine. We're going to do that on construct. So that should be fine. Question, how easy are mouths to make animated? Well, you know, man. Well, you know, it's not that bad. So now all I have to do is just change the value. So this is not an alpha anymore. This is the value. Seems unsure. It depends. How good do you want your mouths to look? And I'm guessing you want them to move when they're talking. Is that what you want to do? This is saturation. So the only thing that's going to be different is the hue color because it's 0 to 360 value. And we're going to have to see if the color is actually correct. I believe this value is 0 to 360. I think it's 360, right? The hue is 0 to 360, while saturation values are 0 to 1. Makes sense. But because our thing is 0 to 1, we want it like that. Here's the problem, though. I bet you our saturation value is not right. Or our hue value is not right. The brightness full, saturation full, but let's do green. It's red. Oh no, we don't want to divide by 360, we want to multiply by 360. Doing the conversion wrong. Whoops. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. Now let's do this color, up all of these values. It's green. Wait, hold on. Purple. I did it right! Yes! I did it right. I'm actually kind of surprised that I did that correctly. So if we go here, that should be red. If I go to the far right, it should still be red. Dude, hell yeah. All right, we got some color controls. Now, if we do the hue, but I lower the saturation, it should be white again. So that's technically should be the default. But if I do the middle, then we should have like halfway. Is that red? Why did it do red? Is it because I forgot to modify the color or something? I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Hey, Pizza Dragus, have a good one. Thank you. Good luck with the work. Good to be aw. We're doing some chaotic UI stuff. Today I learned you can convert a color to a string, and then that converts it into a format, which is great. Whichever dev did this at UE or Epic, good job. Good job. Good job. Now, the last thing we need to do is we need to read the values on construct. And then set all of these sliders. We got to set all the default slider values. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So this we want to divide by 360. Although I guess, no, this is fine. All right, first up, crosshair RGB slider. We're going to get the slider. Then we're going to set the value. This is going to get real messy. Like, very messy. But such is the job. I think this can go directly in. We just have to set up the slider. So the next one is the saturation slider. About to get real messy. Can I, in theory, just copy paste this and then swap it out? The next one is value. Thank goodness. Did he create a dot node? You type in dot? I don't know. Type dot? Have you thought about typing dot? Crazy idea. Have you thought about typing dot? Oh, the reroute node. Oh, the reroute node. You just double click on the line. Alternatively, you can just type reroute node, add a blank one, and then you can add something to it. Sorry, I didn't get what you meant. Yeah, you just double click on the lines and then it'll create it. Okay. So that should now give us our color on startup. I believe our save file has blue. So in theory, this should be blue. You can go magenta, increase the saturation. Purple. Let's do yellow, because I don't know, why not? Piss yellow. Turn down the saturation. Looking good. Turn down the brightness. Can make it black, I guess, if we want to. Why not? It's there. It's there for you. Listen, I'm not the one controlling your fucking crosshair. That's you. That's on the player. Cool. Let me see what it looks like when we run out of ammo. It's technically supposed to modify it to red. Well, since we're in orange, it's fine. But let's say we were at blue. What does it look like with blue? It doesn't look right, but I could give less of a shit. I'm gonna be honest. You know what I mean? I don't care anymore. It gets the job done. I'll take it, dude. It's fine. It does what we need. The last thing I'd like to do is have a preview of the hue, like what it would look like. I think that would be kind of cool. We just have a little image of where the crosshair would be or what it would look like. I think that could be the last piece of the puzzle. Last piece of the puzzle. Now, I would have liked to have like a preview, but I'm just, for now, I'm just going to put an image of the crosshair and I'm going to paste it into the horizontal box. I really think we're going to need a larger version of it. It's too small. And I can't raise the resolution of it because it's only 32 pixels by 32 pixels. So I think it would be cool if we had a preview of like a dark background area environment and then a bright background. You know what I mean? I feel like that'd be a kind of a cool preview. And then we have two of them. What is the size of this? This is 1:1. $500 units to 700 units? What is that, like? What's the size of this? 500 to nearly 500 to nearly 700. I'd say it's 200 pixels. So what should we do? Get two 256 by 256 images? Two 200 by 200 images? What's a dark level and a really bright level? Dark would be Dragon Breath, probably. I feel like I should actually go in play. So we'll do this. I think this is a good example of dark. The tiles. We'll do a 200 by 200. But a bit of a stupid way of doing it, but 200 by 200. Let me save this. Hold on. UI T underscore background dark crosshair preview. Background dark crosshair preview. Save. What about him? What game am I developing right now? I'm currently working on my top-down shooter. Suit for Hire. We're currently working on right now. Okay, so we got a dark background. Now, the brightest background I could probably think of, maybe Rush B. No, I feel like this isn't the brightest one. I feel like we have a brighter level than this. What resolution texture do I use for the floors? It depends. It depends. Probably flip side. This might have the brightest floor. I think this is actually one of the brightest floors. Okay. Yeah, oh, 100% the brightest. Maybe a little too bright. And it's on me, honestly, for this problem. So I'm going to save this as T background bright crosshair preview. Yeah, I think, I don't know what it is. I want to say it's like the bloom or something is a little too bright in here. These areas look fine. It's just when in the sun, it's pretty bright. It's pretty bright. I gotta admit, it's pretty bright. Is there a dark mode option? Well, at least the crosshair works. Am I overdoing it with this idea? No, I don't think so. I think this is perfect. People will probably appreciate this. Thank you, Adam. It's getting there. We're slowly working towards the 1.0. Should be done soon. TM. We still have. So oh, what the hell? It scared me. I still have a little bit of stuff to do, but we're slowly inching ever so closer. So let's put these the bright crosshair preview and the dark crosshair preview in here. And then the idea is we probably want to wrap this with a border. And then that border is going to be the background. Is this not scaling based on the brush size? It's not filling itself. I think that's because it's a border. Let's do something different then, if that's the case, because that's going to be annoying. It's really going to bug me. Let's instead wrap this with an overlay. And then let's have dark crosshair background. Perfect. Only thing is the ordering. This would have to be in front. We're going to center this. That way you see a dark kind of preview and then you get a bright preview. You know what I mean? Is it too much? Maybe. Maybe a bit much. This is going to be light. So it shows you a preview of both of them. Now, the problem is we have a fill on both of these. You could probably do a little bit of a gap. So let's do a padding of like, the right could be 16 pixels, maybe even a little bit more. It could be 12 pixels. And then the left could be 12 pixels. Because these alternating, actually, maybe this one, the left should be 0. I'm going to see if the separation between this and this is the same. It's close enough. I think it's fine. Good old Crimson soon. You know, yeah, soon TM. Good old soon TM. All right. All right, here's another thing that's kind of crazy. Why is this not centered? Anybody else see this? Y'all seeing this? Am I going crazy? Oh, it's because I made the image have the padding. That's not actually 12 pixels. What is going on? Okay, that looks fine. Whew. All right. Next up, we want to change the dark crosshair image and the light crosshair image. We want to change their color corresponding to whatever this color is. So let's go ahead and make a function for that. Set crosshair colors. Okay, and that should set the color. Now we just have to call it whenever we set any of the string things. So we're just going to do set preview crosshair colors, and then we'll just hook this up. I don't like doing this because it looks really ugly, but we'll just do it anyways. And then let's set the preview at the end here as well on construct. Okay. We should be good. We should now see the preview change. So you can kind of get a picture of what it would look like. That's kind of cool. I like that. That's sick. I would love if all games had something like this. Why don't all games have something like that? It only took me, what, 2 hours? Something like that? Something I'm noticing is I'm bringing the saturation up, and we're at blue, and for some reason it becomes red. That's a bit weird. It's like when we go down to 0, it becomes a different color. It's almost like when the value reaches 0, it just like breaks it. Nothing in here seems out of the ordinary. I hope this doesn't set your hue to a different color. If this reaches 0, I hope this doesn't zero out the fucking hue. I feel like that's what it's doing. It does. I ran into this before. Quick hack is to clamp it. That was one of my ideas. The other idea is I grab the RGB slider. I get the value. And then I directly feed it into the hue. And that should fix it. In theory. Because the slider value is not changing. There we go. Sick. That shouldn't break our fucking shit anymore. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's breaking anymore, which is great. This was overriding the string value. It was really annoying. Cool, this is sick. I like this. I think this will be great. I think players will appreciate having both previews, dark and light. Now, the next question. Does it work in controller? The next question is, does it work on controller? Since you're going the extra mile, may as well tint the saturation bar. I'm not doing it because you know what that entails. That entails me modifying the specific material and turning it into like a dynamic material, which I can do, and it wouldn't be that hard, but it's like I'm just really lazy right now. And honestly, this is you know what, fuck it, I'm just just leave it as is. Am I gonna watch the Minecraft movie? How old am I? 9 again? I don't know, maybe. No, probably not. I haven't really gone to the theaters in a while. I think the only thing I'd go to the theaters for is maybe the next Dune movie. I feel bad I didn't go and see them in theaters. I want to listen. I want to tint the saturation bar. Don't get me wrong. I want to, but I feel like we need to move on. All right, this is. We've added crosshair color settings. Actually, here I'll make it. We'll make it a blue check mark for the end of the day. Did we add crosshair color settings? Nope. Added crosshair settings. I'm sure the few people that have asked for that will appreciate having that setting. There we go. Make grabbing use player stamina rather than a separate resource. Is there a quick and easy way I can do that right now? So grabbing right now uses its own resource, which I don't really like. I think it would make more sense if it just used your stamina and then we just use one unified value. I feel like that would just make more sense. It'd probably play better. Oh god, my crosshair is green. So it uses this thing, and it uses their... so when you beat up enemies, they have an internal value for their endurance. And that's what it's using. So as you can see, I keep pushing him into the wall, and his endurance goes down. So the overall value... Well, now it's like bugged. I think it'd be better if we just made that use your stamina. Which you guys don't see because it's off screen. Here, let me change my HUD. I have so many beautiful settings here. I can change the... There you go. So right here, the bottom bar is the stamina. I think what I might do is I might make it so this bar just uses your stamina, and then we just make it so it's a second UI just so you can see what's going on there. You're a billionaire game dev with all the money in the world. Yeah, totally, man. What are your thoughts on the Switch 2? Well, it doesn't matter because I don't think it's going to be in Canada because of the US's shenanigans. Apparently they're delaying shipping it here. It's weird. I don't know why the stamina is so low, even though we beat him to a pulp. You think it'll be a financial success? I don't know. I'm just a game dev. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I'm sure people will buy it. Just like they keep buying the same fucking shitty Pokemon games. Sorry, it's true. Ow. Shots fired. Yeah, I really hate the turn rate for the grappling. I feel like wherever you're aiming, it should just throw them in that direction. You think Nintendo will get their risk? What's ROI again? Risk on investment? Risk on investment? I forgot, dude. I don't know. I'm not an. I'm not a fucking business guy. I just make games. And I'm not very good at it. The only thing that impressed me was that you can use the pads as a mouse. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So how can I make it so this uses our stamina rather than the other things? It's going to be quite the change, but I think it's a good change. Hold on, let me reset my HUD. We have so many settings in this game. I'll admit, I think I did a pretty good job of putting a lot of like controllability of your game. Like there's HUD safe areas. You can like tighten the entire HUD to be like in the center of the screen. You know, now we have crosshair settings for some reason. Some wild fucking reason. I'll admit, I think that's one thing I think well, some of these settings are kind of broken. I did notice some people, they would change the post-processing settings and it would change some of the like anti-aliasing stuff, which was not great. Also, it's really funny. We technically have 2 anti-aliasing settings. I'm going to order a space mouse right now. I've heard of those. I feel like I would not like using those. I don't know. I just like using a traditional mouse, even if it's slowly fucking up my hands. You know, even if it is slowly destroying my hands. Okay. The stamina for grabbing. How can we make it just use our stamina? Let's take a look at the grabbing code. Maybe an enemy that's beat up takes up less of your stamina. That could be kind of the trick. Did I call it grab or grapple? I don't remember. I think I used both for some stupid reason. Oh. Grappling, true, set actor transforms for trace. Bunch of stuff, release grab event. So this we'd have to remove, decide grab time in the grip strength timer. That's where we'd have to change things. So we'd have to remove / deprecate decide grab time and grip strength timer. Now, I probably wouldn't want to remove this. I'd probably want to modify it. Modify the decide grab time. Let's make this a separate task. Delete grip strength timer. Or maybe we don't delete grip strength timer. Maybe we do something different with it. I don't know what we're going to do with this thing. So grip strength timer. What is this doing? This is going in, checking, blah, blah, blah. Cancel grab. I think we want to delete this in some way. We want to check if we have 0 stamina. If we have
Shit
0
my
stamina and we're
pants,
grabbing
I
someone,
did.
then we release the grab. Okay. Back on. Thank you for the prime, by the way. Thank you. Is the space mouse the one I'm thinking about? It's the one where you can like almost work in like 3D space. Let me look it up. Hold on. Space mouse. Yep, it is this one. Dude, so weird. I don't know how this stuff works. It does not make sense to me. I don't know how it works. It doesn't work. You know what? Let's just say it just doesn't work. In my head, it does not click. I just like a traditional mouse. I'm just good. I'm good with my traditional mouse. I've seen some people use them, and they like start like when they're 3D modeling, they're not just rotating on like on a pivot. They're like fucking turning around and shit. Some of my coworkers have it, and I don't get how they use it. I don't get how they use it, man. I don't get it. Hey, nice sketch, sniping. Nice sketch. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm not a sketch artist. I'm surprised you even did that on traditional paper rather than like... That's weird. Okay. Find enemy, cancel grab. So that's fine. That we can keep. This we don't want to keep. But we do want to figure out how we're going to drain the stamina. Here we do have a timer called drain stamina. Oh, it drains it by an amount. Here we have start Dramina. Dramina? Stamina? Okay, we'd want to do it in here. Yeah, this is where we want to drain it. We would put another value in here if we're grappling an enemy. That's where we'd want to do it. All right, well, we have a bit of a game plan. Got a bit of a game plan of how we go about doing it. When reaching 0 stamina and grab and cancel grab, use stamina tick drain to drain stamina while grabbing. Another thing we're going to want to do is modify the grab UI to use the current stamina value. We'd want to change, I don't even know where that UI is. Widget blueprint underscore. Well, it's not hold interact, I'm pretty sure. Is it? What is it called? Player grip strength. That's probably it. Okay, cool. Do I have a full-time job and game dev? Not really. I'm a contractor. So right now I don't have any contracts, so I'm essentially full-time on this currently. It flip-flops. It flip-flops a lot of time. I'm curious, it's really funny. There's actually not that many people that play the beta. And you can tell that because yesterday I was doing some testing and I got a bunch of achievements. You can tell that because you can see the percentage through here. So in terms of in the beta, there's 0.6% of players that have gotten a clean suit. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how many people play the fresh version of the game, seeing all of this new content for the first time. And not a lot of the players watch my stream or follow my Twitter or anything like that. So it's like they're going to get an update and be like, whoa, it's like 2 gigabytes or something. And then they're going to be like seeing all of this new stuff. And hopefully they like it. Hopefully. I hope. Fingers crossed. Or else we're in the fuck zone. Yeah. We don't want to be in that zone. It's a bad zone to be in. Well, let's get to it then. Let's get to it. We'll do it on stream. I was thinking of just ending the stream and just doing this later, but we gotta get this going. I'll do this task, and then we'll probably head out for the day. Make grabbing use the player's stamina rather than... Okay, so first, modified decide grab time to decide how much stamina drains. We're going to do this differently. By 2, min 2, max 4. Decide grab time. I think we're going to just read directly from... So we're going to delete this. We're going to delete this. Actually, hold on. Let me see what that's doing. Grip strength timer. Yep. Delete that too. Here we're creating the grip strength widget. We don't want to use duration anymore. This is just going to read from the stamina value. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't like this. Time spawned. Wait, how is this working? Time spawned? There's no time spawned parameter in here. Why is that what is this doing? What is that? It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. Here it's playing the animation. Okay, so we don't want to play that animation anymore. I believe we don't want to play that animation anymore. We don't want to call set new duration, which might break this, I'm sure. Nope. Okay, that's fine. So what we do want to do is we send the player character, which is good. Let's do event tick. And then as long as this is valid, we're not setting this as a variable. That's crazy. Okay, so then in here we can set scalar parameter value of, I believe it was time. Here we can get our current stamina. And I don't remember if this is a 0 to 100 value. Let's find out. Current stamina, 100. It is 0 to 100. So we want to divide this by 100. And that's going to be the value of our time. And we're setting it on tick. Why? Because I can. Because I can. So now, when we grab a character, in theory, what's the problem? Yeah, we don't care about this function anymore. Oh. We made it so we can adjust the grip strength. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. I think punching them is going to reduce their endurance, which would then, in theory, reduce how much our stamina goes down. We should be fine. Hey, Rock Kicker, how's it going? So now, when I grab this enemy, the value should stay full because we don't have any stamina ticking. Okay, looks like we're good. Let me see if I can grab him permanently. In theory, we should be able to grab him permanently. The value was different. Why did that happen? All right. Cool. So that's done. Done. This, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do use enemy's endurance value to determine how quick the stamina drains. Okay, so I don't know how start stamina drain it works, or where this gets called. I want to say this gets called after you do an action. Yeah. It will call start stamina drain, then it drains at every 0.1. We call it anytime we do an action. So in theory, whenever we grab an enemy, we're going to want to start draining the stamina. let's see here. Do we have an end stamina drain? I think it does it itself. I already guess. So we started up. I also see another function. Started body shield. After 1.75 seconds, it calls this function. Wait, what? Recent body shield. What does that mean? It calls the function again? I don't get it. All right, we'll go somewhere else then, I guess. We'll do it in here. We turn off sprinting, which is interesting. The duration, I think we can actually delete that value. I'm watching, but I really should practice substance. Hey, put the stream in the background. Put the stream in the background. Put the stream in the background. Mute me. Practice. Listen, watching the stream and getting distracted and not doing the things you want to do, not worth it. All right. Listen, by the time you finish this, by the time the stream finishes, you're gonna sit there and be like, "Why did I waste my time?" You're not gonna feel good. All right. I am in the background though. Am I distracting? Uh-oh. Sorry. Okay, start stamina drain. Then, when reaching 0 stamina and grabbing, cancel grab. Okay, so let's search up stamina. We drain the stamina. Do we have a thing in here that checks? If it reached 0. Right here. Time focusing, toggle time focus. And then a sequence, we're going to do another thing here. We're going to check if we're grabbing an enemy. Grappled, again, I'm using different terminologies here. I guess we'll do this. No, I guess we can do this. If this is true, then we will cancel grab, which will let go of the enemy. So next up, what's really annoying is grappled enemy. I'll probably just make a function for it. Let's just check if this is valid first. And then we'll plus it in here. This is going to be a select. This will be 0. Let's do, I guess, 1.5 for now. We'll do 1.5 for now just to make sure that this is working. So now when we grab an enemy, it's reducing the stamina. Once we reach 0, it should let go. Cool. You reach 0 and try to grab, he just immediately lets go. But not too buggy. Working as intended. Okay, nice. When reaching 0, use stamina tick drain. Now we just need to use the enemy's endurance. You know, man, who cares? All right, there we go. Done. Yeah. And then let's just delete these subtasks. It's just filling up space. All right. Good 3-hour stream. I got to figure out food. Who cares about the endurance? Who cares? Whatever. I think that's just a wasted float value now that we're calculating on the enemy, but you know, whatever, man. You know, whatever. Whatever. I could use it, but you know. I could use it. I just have to read the endurance value. The only problem is if this is not valid, it's going to read an invalid value. So I'd have to turn this into a function. Pure value. So what we need to do is first check if this is valid. If it's false, the value is going to be 0. But if it's true, then we're going to read the grappled value and then the endurance, which I think is a value of like 2 to 4. I actually don't know what the endurance value is by default. It does a value, we minus the endurance, it clamps from 0 to 1. We divide it by 2 and then clamp it from 2 to 4. That doesn't make any sense. That literally does not make any sense. How are we dividing a 0 to 1 value? Dividing it by 2 would mean it's 0.5. And then we're clamping it from 2 to 4. What? What? This thing didn't make any sense. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to 0 to 1 value, we'll just... If they have a higher endurance, then they'll just minus more. Let's do divide by 2. We'll have 0.5 value in here. If we divide by 2, it's going to be 0.5. Let's do plus 1.5. That'll become our value. Okay, there we go. Now the endurance will actually do something. And technically, if I grab the dude and beat him up while I'm grabbing him, so if I do divide by 1, we should be able to see. See, it goes a little bit slower. If I beat him up in the wall, it should also go a bit slower. It's just not like substantial. Like you don't really notice it. Like if I, let's say I actually just read the endurance value. In theory, if I keep beating him up, I should be able to like permanently grab him. Yeah. Look how slow it's going down now. Okay, so this is working, but I think 1.5 is a bit intense. So let's do 1.25. That drains the stamina so quickly. There. And then obviously beating them up will slow it down. Then you have a bit more time to do whatever. Such as accidentally reloading the level. All right. Cool. Done. Yeah. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for lurking, chat, and sticking around. We're looking good. We're looking good. I don't know why that became like that rather than... Hold on. Grabbing now uses player stamina rather than separate resource. Crosshair color settings, already did that. Remove MSA in AA settings, isn't doing anything. Added restart chapter in the pause menu. I don't know if I already added that, like in the list somewhere. Aim assist on controller is now a bit stronger while in midair / diving. These are like the minuscule things that nobody really cares about, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Which means I can delete these because now it's in the list. It's getting smaller! Although not really because I added a bunch of bugs yesterday, but it's getting smaller anyways! Yup! Yup! Look, the list is so short that I can... The bar is getting larger. Look how much larger it's getting. I do want to get these tasks out of the way ASAP. Rocky. And then this level we need to get started on ASAP as well. And then I also want to finish up these things here. That will like clear up this entire section. That'll clear up this entire section. Let me put in the patch notes 15 new levels. Did I write that down somewhere? 15 new levels. Okay. Did I add challenges or achievements? I did. It's in this list. Steam achievements. Move up here. Thank you. I'm gonna have to order this in terms of like value. Cool though. I'm gonna figure out food. I'll see you guys, I guess tomorrow, because tomorrow's the last. Tomorrow's like I guess the last or second last day. Okay, we technically have 3 days, I guess. Because April 6th, I'm gonna work on April 6th as well. How will you implement Steam achievements? I already did. There's a whole API that you can use. And I use that. And we have them working. Or I hope they're all working. As you can see. I got a few of them yesterday when I was playtesting. Yeah, check out the beta branch. I unlocked all of the levels, I believe, or most of them. So you should be able to play all of the new levels, and I need any sort of feedback or any bugs and issues that might be in those levels. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Take it easy. And yeah, I'm gonna figure out food. I'm hungry. All right. Goodbye.